This is a box of mostly used lithium ion battery packs, and I've been using lithium cells for a few years, and I started out like most people do, buying some of the cheap Chinese cells, and I've discovered though that the Chinese cells are they work somewhat, but they tend to be grossly overrated. For example, some of them are rated at 9.9 amp hours, 9900 milliamp hours. I still use the term amp hours because I tinker with lead acid batteries, and most of them are much higher capacity than lithium ions, and most lithium cells are 18650s, and they're rated in milliamp hours for the most part. But suffice it to say, as far as the 9900 milliamp hour batteries, they're not. There are no 18650 cells that are 9.9 amp hours. Most 18650s are less than 3 amp hours or 3000 milliamp hours, and a large percentage of them are under 2 amp hours. So I bought these, and like I said, I started out using the Chinese ones, and then I discovered that they're a waste of money, and then I started buying some of the better ones fairly recently. And my video about the lithium ion pack that I used to power my FT817, I actually bought 10 new 18650 cells, good ones, and but I've since discovered that you can buy boxes of salvage cells, or salvage packs actually, and tear down the packs and get some good cells out of them. And this is such a box. It came as 10 pounds of assorted battery packs, and most of them are like this. And I haven't broken one of these down yet, but I'll probably go ahead and do that. And it says 7.4 volts, 5200 milliamp hours. Now that's probably correct, because I believe this is a medical pack, and they tend to use good cells in them. And also, made in Taiwan is better than made in China. But 7.4 volts means that there are only, assuming this is lithium ion, and I'm pretty sure it is. We'll find out anyway when we tear one down. But this should be 1, 2, 3, 4 18650s. So that'll be 2 parallel, and it'll be 2 sets of 2 in parallel for 2 in series to get 7.4 volts. So that 5200, that means that it'll be 2600 milliamp hour 18650 cells. So like I said, I'll tear one of these down today and take a look at it and see what the deal is, and add that to this video. Looks like it shouldn't be too much difficulty to get it apart, but there are a bunch of those in here, and there are some other, that's obviously 2 18650s. So 7.2 volts, so it'll be 2 of them in series. But included in this is an unopened pair of 18650s, BRC outlight, and I'm pretty sure that's Chinese, especially since it says 3600 milliamp hours, and it's probably not. But that's an unopened, sealed pack. So we're going to run that through my tester charger and see what it actually does as far as capacity. So this is my Zamflare C4 and it's both a charger and a tester, and that's a great little piece of equipment. And I will actually put a link in the video description to the Amazon link where you can get one of these. And if you do, if you want one, I recommend this. And if you do get one and you use my link, I'll make a little bit of money on that. So I appreciate it. It won't cost you any extra. But anyway, enough about that. This charger, it charges at 300, 500, and 700 and 1000 milliamps. So 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 1 amp hour, or amp. And so it not only does that, but it also has two test modes. It has one test mode where it fully charges, fully discharges, and fully charges again to get a really accurate account of the capacity of the cells. And then it's got a quick test, which is what I'm going to use today, and what that basically does is it discharges it and then recharges it and gives a quicker assessment of the capacity. And that's close enough, and that's what we're going to do, because the full test takes too long, you know. And if it's good if you're using some used cells and you're going to put them in a pack and you need to know very accurately how much capacity it has so that you can make each parallel string come out to the same capacity. But just for a quick assessment, I mean, it takes several hours to do it for the quick assessment. So, but if you just want a rough estimate of how much capacity a cell has, and especially a new cell like this, then the quick test is the way to go. And another good thing about it is that each of these slots is completely independent. So you can be doing a quick test with one, a full test with another, and charging with a couple of others. And in fact, you can be charging, you can be testing a couple of lithium ions, charging a lithium ion, and then charging or testing or whatever a NiCad or a nickel metal hydride. They are that independent. And one last interesting feature that it has is, if you don't have it plugged into power, you can put anywhere from 1 to 4 18650s in here, or any lithium batteries that'll fit in here, which most of them will, and you can use it as a power bank to charge your cell phone or whatever. So that's another good feature. And without further ado, and I'll probably add a couple of the used cells after a while, but I want to get these started just to you know, so I won't be waiting around all day to find out what the capacity is. So these are the new ones. So let's pop them in there real quick. This particular charger is the reverse of a lot of chargers where positive goes down. So if you're doing the same thing on more than one, you need to do it within 10 seconds, or you have to, anyway. Fast test. Okay, I missed that one, so I'll show you what you got to do. As long as that's flashing, you can change it. Once it stops flashing, it won't change when you push this button. So you've got to push that button again. Push it and hold it until it starts flashing. There we go. Now I can change it. Alright. Both of those are on fast test. So now we'll just leave it alone for a few hours. Okay, here's one of those packs that we were looking at earlier. And I just discovered something. I saw that there's a little screwdriver slot there, and that's why I was saying that it probably wouldn't take much to take it apart. This one, I didn't even need a screwdriver. See, it's got a lip there for leverage. Well, I was hoping the top would just pop off, but it's going to tear it up. That still might be a useful little case, though. I might still be able to reuse those. Maybe, I don't know, glue the lid back on or tape it on or whatever. If I just want to, I mean, I could change this to 4 in series to have a fully charged 16.5 volt. So that would work well for powering a 12 volt light, like a headlight for a motorized bicycle or something, or unmotorized. So I am going to use a screwdriver and pry those out. I'll go do that right now. But it is indeed 4 18650s. 2 parallel, 2 parallel, and those 2 strings in series. Okay, so I got a couple of these cells out, and I haven't been able to find out what they are. Of course, they're 18650s. Thought they were LGs, and they might be, but they say TBRM 4L6. So, I don't know. Let's test them and see what they do. Anyway, I looked on my reference, and a lot of times you can tell by the jacket color and the ring color. And this is a red jacket and kind of a pale blue ring. But I'm not sure. It might be a Sanyo. There are some Sanyos that are like that. That are those colors. But anyway, let's see how they test. Okay, another thing, by the way, is it defaults to showing what the charge current is, but you can press single press and it gives you the voltage. And I looked at these with my meter and they were at 4 volts. They're already dropping, see, because in this test mode it just discharges them first and then recharges them. These started out at 3.6 or 3.7, about 3.6 I think, and now they're down to 352, 3.52 and 3.07. Also monitor them to make sure they don't get too warm. So now let's go away and leave it alone for a few hours. Okay, the testing is finished on these two, the ones that were new in the packaging, and they are 1623 and 1619 milliamp hours, so less than half what they're rated for. I'm not surprised. And these are, they're at 3.92 and 3.91 volts. I'm going to cut it off there because I don't want to charge them all the way right now, because it's better to keep them at a partial state of charge if you're not about to use them. But they have they've received a little bit over 1 amp hour so far. So at 3.91, 3.92, they've got 1 amp hour in them. So they're probably going to be about the same capacity as these. So there we go. Rated at 3600. They actually don't even make half that. So that's what you can expect from Chinese 18650 cells. Thanks for watching.